Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Pray be to the Lord. We're going to continue with our classes, the last class of today, and we're going to continue with grammar right now. Obviously, we are on the lesson number 19 that we saw during the year. Okay, and the topic that are we going to see today are indefinite pronouns. If you want to know in what page I'm right now, I'm on page number 259. Okay, I'm on page number 259, and we're going to start to see about the indefinite pronouns. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the possessive pronouns. Wednesday, we're going to talk about the interrogative pronouns. And Thursday, we're going to make a review of to all of that. Okay, so people, let's go to start to our class, okay, and understand a little bit what is an indefinite pronoun. Okay, so please everybody pay attention.
The idea of the indefinite pronoun, which looks kind of complicated, but really just does what it says on the tin. An indefinite pronoun is just that. It's indefinite, undefined, uncertain. These are pronouns that we use when we're not being especially specific. Words like any, anybody, each, everyone, nobody. Anytime I need to remember what words fall into this category of indefinite pronouns, I just think of the song Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, originally by Solomon Burke, and then later made famous by the Rolling Stones and the Blues Brothers. So a cool thing about indefinite pronouns, actually there are a couple. Number one, they can be used as both subjects or objects in a sentence. So if you said to me, David, do you want pizza? I could respond, yes please, I'd love some, using it as an object. Or equally plausibly, I could say, yes please, some would be great, using it as a subject. Another really cool thing about indefinite pronouns is that the words both, neither, and either retain the dual. They are some of the only words in English that refer to only two things. So these three pronouns are actually a little bit less indefinite than most indefinite pronouns because they refer to a set of two things. So if someone asked me, do you like mangoes or cherries more? I could say, I like both equally, referring to the cherries and the mangoes at the same time. And this is really strange because in English, this dual case doesn't really exist anymore, except for in very limited amounts. Because English distinguishes between whether or not there's one of something and more than one of something. But this is one of the very few cases where we ever distinguish between more than one of something and specifically two of something. There are not a whole lot of words in English that refer to that. So I think that's really cool. The third cool thing about indefinite pronouns is that they're usually treated as singular. Usually. So words like both, neither, and either are obviously plural, but there are some that are a little bit fuzzier. For example, in the sentence, nobody was home, we use the word was, the singular form. Even though that nobody could refer to multiple people, or it's really referring to the absence of anyone. Similarly, in the sentence, everybody knows that I love onions, we use the word knows, just like we'd say, he knows, she knows, it knows. So that's the singular form of that verb. Even though the idea of everybody would seem to refer to more than one person. The indefinite pronoun that we use to refer to everybody usually conjugate the third person singular form of verbs. Usually. Let's get to one of the weirder examples, though. Because sometimes the context can carry you along into something that might seem a little quote-unquote ungrammatical, but really reflects the way that language is used today. And so although you might say everyone, is looking at me, here's an example from Garner's Modern American Usage, which is one of the several car-sized books I'm using to construct this grammar course. Everyone was crouched behind furniture to surprise me, but I already knew they were there. And you can see in the beginning of the sentence, we say everyone was. But then, in the second part of the sentence, we say they were. And we're using they to refer to everyone. So how can this be? This doesn't seem grammatical. But as Garner says, sometimes meaning rather than grammar governs agreement. Is this grammatical? Yes, in that it makes sense. Does it adhere concretely and in an ironclad way to these rules that we've established? No, but language is kind of messy in that way. Sometimes the meaning of the sentence, the fact that here everyone refers to multiple people, is going to override the rules that are previously established. And that's okay, as long as you're making sense. So relative pronouns are usually singular unless the context drags them into the realm of the plural. So, like their name implies, sometimes indefinite pronouns can be a little indefinite. Alright, here are the three cool things about indefinite pronouns. Number one, they can be used as subjects or objects. Both neither and either retain the dual form, which is super weird. And number three, indefinite pronouns are usually treated as singular. Usually. I know that's confusing, but I have faith in you. You can learn anything. David out.
Okay. If you see, well, actually, to understand better the indefinite pronouns, we have to know which ones are the indefinite pronouns, right? But if you see, you pay attention to the word, to the video and a little bit explanation of the video about David, he said indefinite pronouns, okay, that is the word. They are indefinite. We don't know if they are singular, if we don't know if they are plural, we don't know if they are male, or we don't know if they are female. So let's see this. And I don't know what it should just give me a momento, because I don't find this and I have to do this because I need this for the class is this. Okay. Okay. That is the way of how to understand the word of indefinite. Okay. It doesn't have or doesn't have any definition between hyphens. Okay. It's that is a word. It's indefinite. As I told you, we don't know if singular, we don't know if it's plural, we don't know it's male, we don't know it's female. Okay, so just put attention about this, right? Just put a little bit attention about this, about the topic. The topic is more kind of pronouns. As I told you, we're going to see what is indefinite pronouns. We're going to know possessive pronouns and interrogative pronouns. Indefinite pronouns, okay, indefinite pronouns are, or an indefinite pronoun take the place of a noun. It can stand for person, place, or thing. The noun that is it stands for it's unclear or not identified. Okay. I really need this in your notebook because you will need, okay, these ones to understand and used to be in the way we're going to use it. For example, indefinite pronouns, we have some singular, plural, or singular plural way. Okay, for example, we have singular, we have another, anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything. Okay, little, much, I don't know why in some persons I heard that neither, but for example in the audio, in the video, it said neither. I really don't know why. I will investigate. Nobody, no one, nothing, one, other, somebody, someone, and something. If you see, we have singular, but we don't know if there are male or female. Okay. We have in plural way. A few, just as a few are plural. both, few, many, others, several. And singular and plural, they can work both. We have all, any, more, must, none, and such. So please, copy on your notebooks, people. I'm watching you. And I'm watching who's missing in the class today, right now. Felix is missing. Felix is one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, only Felix is missing. Only one is missing. All the day I have all my students in classes. Wow, it's mysterious what happened. It's really weird because almost all the days I have 18 or 20.
Mister
Yes, I heard you.
Jose Antonio.
Jose Antonio Valenzuela, it's other one. So I have 22 students.
Yep.
Yes, I have only 22 students. You finished the copy, Jimena? Jimena. 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 Okay, very good, Leda. Please copy everybody. Only these ones are indefinite pronouns. We don't need more indefinite pronouns, okay? So don't invent to use another kind of pronoun to make an indefinite pronoun, okay? So,
Finish. Mister, no submit the presentation. Please. Put the presentation. The presentation.
sorry, I'm sorry. There you are.
Thanks.
You welcome. Okay, come on guys, quickly, finish quickly. Remember, only with indefinite pronouns. The only thing that it's indefinite is because we don't know if they are male or female. Like the subject, the personal pronouns. We know which ones of our personal pronouns are male and which ones are female. For example, in which ones in that way are female? We have she, female. They could be male and female. I could be male and female. You could be male and female. It also could be male or female. We could be male or female. And the only one that is male, what do you think is? Which personal pronoun? Which personal pronoun do you think it's a male?
He.
He, he, he. He, it's the personal pronoun. That is really defined as a male. Okay, everybody can finish to copy.
I finished.
Okay, thank you.
I finished.
Okay, so let's continue. We're going to watch another video, people, to understand how to use each indefinite pronoun. Okay.
I finished.
Okay, very
So
good.
can you put the presentation of 1 minute more, please?
We don't have much time, people.
I just need the last ones.
Remember. We don't have much time, people. You need to be faster. Yes, Jimena, do you want to say something?
Finish.
Finish, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see. We're going to watch another video that explains a little bit more, okay, the indefinite pronouns as an agreement also.
All right, hello and welcome to our podcast on indefinite pronouns and agreement. It's probably best if you...
I want to ask you something. Do you hear do you hear well the video, the audio?
Yes, mister.
Yes.
No, I'm asking because in my computer I
Yes.
hear very low. So I want to see if you listen very clear and loud the video.
You've watched our other podcast on personal pronouns and
Yes.
first, and then watch this one to kind of continue that journey down the look at pronouns and how they agree. If you haven't watched that first one, it's totally okay. You probably pick this up as they are a little bit different than our other types of pronouns, but it is nice to watch these things in a series. So this is number 2 in that series, indefinite pronouns. So let's review for a second. Do we remember this chart? This is our personal pronoun chart. These are the 26 pronouns that are in the subjective case or the objective case or possessive pronouns that are used to replace specific people, nouns, individuals, objects. Meaning we have to have a specific something in mind in order to replace them with a personal pronoun. We can't say he and not know who that he is. It's probably Johnny or Jimmy or Frankie. Same with her, same with you. We need to know who the specific replacement is when we use personal pronouns. And so again, our recommendation is make sure you memorize this chart. Make sure you understand the difference between first person, second person, third person, and then the columns of singular and plural. If you don't remember those, revisit our other podcasts. We spend a little bit more time on this chart. Now, the focus of this podcast is to talk about what are called indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns do not refer to any one specific person or group. They are not definite, or if you use the prefix that means not, they are indefinite. For example, anyone can do that. Well, who is anyone? I mean, literally, it can be anyone. It's not a specific person. Therefore, the pronoun we're going to use, instead of saying any person, is just going to be the pronoun of anyone. Number 2, each of the students is responsible for homework, or someone must be in charge. I mean, by the very definition of it, someone is definite. We don't know who that is. There is no name. If we want to say that Tommy is in charge, we would use Tommy is he. We're not sure, and it's indefinite. We would use the indefinite pronoun of someone. Now, stop for a second and try to remember back to either previous podcasts or things that you've learned in your grammatical studies. Please remember that the subject of a clause, whether that's an independent clause, which is a complete sentence, or a dependent clause, the subject of a clause is never in a prepositional phrase. So as we try to figure out subject and verb agreement, we have to find the true subject of a sentence. Therefore, in these examples, be sure we're finding the true subject of the sentence, not the prepositional phrase. And so we're not even talking pronouns yet, but we need to review this a little bit because a lot of these indefinite pronouns then use prepositional phrases to help them agree. For example, number 1, the leader of the gangs is tough. The subject of that sentence is leader. There is one leader. Therefore, it takes a singular verb, which is. Now, it says of the gangs right next to the verb. So isn't it supposed to be the leader of the gangs are tough? No. Double check. The subject of the sentence cannot be in that prepositional phrase, which is underlined. Therefore, the subject is leader. The subject is singular. Therefore, the verb has to be singular also, and in this case, is. Number 2, the challenge of the competitors is great. Again, the subject is challenge, not competitors. A lot of people want to make the assumption that the word closest to the verb must be the subject, and those are the two words that we must make agree. Sometimes they are. Oftentimes, as you get into more complicated pieces of writing, they are not. So find the true subject, the simple subject, the one-word subject of the sentence. And that cannot be in a prepositional phrase. So we look at the word challenge. Challenge is singular, therefore we take a singular verb, and in this case again it is. Last one there, just to show the opposite. The answers to the question are varied. So it looks like one question with many answers are possible. Again, the grammatical subject is answers, therefore the verb must be plural, and so we use the verb of are. Even though the word question is right next to it, question is not the subject because it's in a prepositional phrase. Subjects are not in prepositional phrases. So, let's go back to our indefinite pronouns here. These are singular indefinite pronouns, meaning when you see them used as pronouns, they take singular verb forms. So go ahead and pause this now. Maybe take a look at these, write them down in your notes. But these ones are singular indefinite pronouns. Okay, welcome back. So let's go ahead and see some of these in action. So if we're looking at examples of singular indefinite pronouns, we might have a sentence like this. One of the students is correct. Now again, you got to find the true subject of this sentence, and in this case, the true subject is the word one, not students. Even though students is close to the verb, students is not a grammatical subject because it's in the prepositional phrase. Therefore, if your subject is one, it's singular and it takes a singular verb, which is. Number 2, somebody here has the right answer. Again, subject is somebody. Somebody is singular. Therefore, the verb form must be singular also, and that is has. Last one there. Neither of the dogs is ready to run. So again, our indefinite pronoun is neither. That is singular, and it takes the singular verb is. This next batch of indefinite pronouns are plural, meaning they will take a plural verb form when they are used as pronouns. So again, go ahead and pause this, write these down in your notes, and we will show some examples in a second. So here are some examples using plural indefinite pronouns. Beau of the students are ready. Again, the subject is both. It's plural. Therefore, the verb it must agree with is are. Both are ready. You cannot say both is ready because is a singular. Number two, several of the players run home. You can't say several of the players runs home. Several is plural. Run is plural. And the last one there, many of the dogs are here. Again, subject is many, verb is all. Our last chunk of indefinite pronouns are probably the most confusing. These are the indefinite pronouns that can take either singular or plural verbs, depending on the context that they are used in. So, a little confusing. They're kind of like chameleon-like. They kind of change to fit their surroundings. And unfortunately, that's kind of how they are. So we just need to get used to that. But here's the list. So go ahead and pause the podcast again, write these down, and think about these for a couple of minutes. But these are examples of indefinite pronouns that could either be singular or plural, depending on the sentences they're in. So here's some examples of sentences that are using these indefinite pronouns that could be both singular or plural, depending on the context. So number one, all of the classes are here. Again, the subject has to be not in a prepositional phrase. Therefore, the subject is all. And so in this case, all are here. Okay, fine. Second sentence, all of the class is here. Oh, interesting. The subject again is all, but in this case, it's singular. All is here. Three, most of the students are correct. And then the last example, most of the student was in the room when the bell rang. So on this slide, we have the proper subjects highlighted, all or most. They are properly agreeing with the verbs, but you can see the question in the upper right. This is where you're going to use the prepositional phrase or more context around the subject to influence agreement. So if you notice in the first pair, it says all of the classes are here, as in like many classes are arriving at a school assembly or something. The bottom one, all of the class is here. Even though it's multiple students in a class, it's still just one singular class. Therefore, in the top one, all is plural. There's more than one. So it's all are here for the assembly. But then number two, all is here, ready to start class. So all of the class, meaning all of the students, is here. Now, this is kind of weird, because even though class is made up of multiple kids, 20 to 40, however many you have in your class, the word class is singular. So if we use class, it's singular. All of the class is here. If we change it to all of the students, then what does it become? It becomes all of the students are here. Okay, so your subject is still all, but you are now using that prepositional phrase right next to it to help you determine agreement. And so when we change these into interrogative forms or question forms, we still may have to restructure the sentence and put it in a statement form to double check our agreement. So for example, is all of the cake devoured? We would rearrange that and go, yes, all of the cake is devoured. Therefore, all in this case is singular because cake is singular, and that helps us inform all as to whether it's going to be singular or plural. Are all of the pastries gone? Yes, all of the pastries are gone. All is still our subject, but we're using of the pastries to inform all that it's going to take a plural verb this time. So let's go ahead and take a minute here, see how we can do on a little bit of practice. Read each sentence and see if you can determine which verb form is appropriate based on the indefinite pronouns that you are given. And here are the answers for those. There's a little bit more practice, go ahead and pause this again and see how you do. And so the last thing we want to leave you with in terms of this podcast and indefinite pronouns is the idea and the warning that we need to make sure that we are looking at these indefinite pronouns as pronouns, and then these agreement rules fall into place. And the reason we mention that is because many of these pronouns can also be used as adjectives. And so we're making this a little bit more complicated with those other parts of speech. But we need to be clear. How are these words being used? If they are being used as a pronoun, meaning they're standing in as an indefinite pronoun, then these rules of singular, plural, or could go either way come into play. If they are being used as adjectives, then those rules come into play also. For example, you can see at the bottom the word of most. Most of the kids are present today. And then the second sentence, most kids are present today. Let's go ahead and look at those a little bit more in depth. So here are those sentences explained a little bit. The first one, most of the kids are present today. The word most is used as an indefinite pronoun. And since most is one of those words that could go either way, we then check off and look at the prepositional phrase to help us. In this case, most of the kids takes the plural verb of are. Now if we go to the bottom, the word most is used as an adjective, and it further describes kids. It answers the questions of which kids? Well, most kids are present today. And in this particular example, both of those sentences are going to take plural verbs in the form of are. But there are times where the indefinite pronoun of one sentence, if it is slightly changed and then use adjective, that could change the agreement. So definitely make sure and look at the simple subject of the sentences. Figure out what you're looking at. What is the simple subject? Is it an indefinite pronoun, as in the first one, which is most? Or is it some other word, such as kids, in the second sentence? And then most is just being used as an adjective. And so be very careful about what you're looking at grammatically, and then create your agreement patterns from there. So that's about it. That is a lot of information, but hopefully you can stop this a lot and figure things out as you go. As always, if you have any questions, please bring those into class and we'll go from there. Thanks for listening, and we will see you soon.
Okay, guys, it's almost time to leave, but we're going to make the exercise on the page number 259. It's going to be very quickly, actually. Okay, for example, the number one, and the instruction says, circle the correct pronoun for each sentence. Okay, the number one, all or every of us wanted to go swimming this summer. What do you think is the answer?
Every.
No. All of us want to go swimming this summer. So circle all. Number two, however, someone or something decide to close the city pool.
Someone.
Someone. Very good.
Someone.
Someone. Number three, we asked if nobody or anyone of the city council could reopen the pool.
Anyone.
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 Anyone. Very good. Number four, the council members said there was everything or nothing they could do.
Nothing.
Nothing. Very good.
Nothing.
Number five, we decided to search for someone or somewhere else to go swimming.
Where?
Some,
Where?
somewhere. Very good. Somewhere.
Someone.
Somewhere. Number six, everyone or everything look for another place.
Everyone.
Everyone. Very good. Number seven, but we couldn't find everywhere or anywhere to go.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Very good.
Anywhere.
And the last one. So we decided to do something or nothing else instead.
Something.
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 Okay. Okay, guys. Very good. I will check if everybody make the placement test for spelling for the English lab. So for that reason, I will assign the lesson for this week. Okay, guys, it was a pleasure. See you tomorrow. Take care. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You have your agenda, okay, of homeworks, of assignations. So please start to do all the assignations for this week. Bye-bye.
Ohio.